Today we are going to talk about some updates to do with Hurricane Hilary as well as storms impacting some other cruise ships today. I've got information for you on the Panama Canal, 2 updates from Princess ships that affect dining, as well as the ability to use your Plus and Premier package for alcoholic beverages. I'll let you know what our bucket list cruises is as well. We are going to talk about the cruise lines that go to Glacier Bay. I've had lots of questions about that lately, so we're going to go ahead and talk about that today as well. So much to talk about, but I think it's all really important, so let's go ahead and get started. Hi there, this is Allison with Let's Go Travel Tips, and today is Saturday. It is August 19th already of 2023, and I would like to start off by inviting you to subscribe. Would you please subscribe to our channel? You just hit that subscribe button, and right next to it's that little bell. If you click on that, you will get an email every time we put up a video, every time we go live, so that you don't miss out on any of the fun as well as lots of information. We have an amazing community here, and also if you appreciate these updates, would you please give this video a thumbs up? That really does help us as well. So thank you so much. Now let's start off with the updates from Hurricane Hilary. As we talked about yesterday, that storm has been coming in, and now it's going to be hitting part of Mexico, Baja California, moving up to Los Angeles, and then up through California a little bit more and over, you know, how storms go. Then she'll affect more of the United States. But what is it doing with cruise ships? First of all, the Emerald Princess that I talked to you about yesterday, she is going into port early today. Instead of arriving back in Los Angeles tomorrow, she is arriving back today. Guests can stay overnight if they would like to. If they live close and they decide they want to disembark, of course they can go ahead and go, but really I'm sure that people with flights and everything will want to stay overnight so they can catch their flights home on Monday as they are expecting. So that is a big update. We're also going to talk about, flights home on Sunday. Another thing that we are going to talk about is Carnival Panorama. She set sail today from Long Beach, California. She does cruises that go from Long Beach down to the Mexican Riviera and back, and they have announced that on their cruise this week they are going to be canceling their port call in Mazatlan. So that's an update. And finally, the Carnival Pride. The Carnival Pride, interestingly enough, is in Cork, Ireland, and it is so interesting to me. They got in and they thought that they would be able to do their all aboard at 6:30 p.m. as they had planned, but as the day has progressed, the weather conditions have deteriorated. The storm moved in faster than they expected. So they were doing their best to contact all of the guests who were ashore and let them know to please be aboard by 5 p.m. And I was really interested at how they do that. They said that they were sending out text messages, updates in the app, as well as emails, hoping that the guests who were ashore would get that message and be back to the ship on time. So it was a really good reminder to me. Sometimes when we're in port, I don't pay that much attention to my phone, and I need to start doing that a little bit and just keep an eye on things, especially if the weather's not perfect. But sometimes things happen that we maybe aren't aware of, and so there's just a reminder that if you get a notification, just keep an eye on your phone when you're in port. Now, the next thing has a little bit to do with weather. The other part of Hurricane Hilary is flight cancellations. So right now it is Saturday afternoon here on the 19th, and as I looked at the airlines, right now of the major airlines, it seems like the only one that is canceling flights is Southwest in connection with this. Right now that they have nearly got 700 flight cancellations for Sunday, and it's going to be 25 to 40% of their flights in and out of San Diego, Burbank, Ontario, and Santa Ana airports there in Southern California. So if you're booked on Southwest, take a look at those flights and make sure your flight is still going to go, or if you really need to go and your flight's canceled, to pick something up on someone else, another airline. And then we will keep an eye and see how everything shapes up on Sunday. I know that my guess is the other airlines are just waiting to see what happens, how much the storm impacts that whole region. So we'll keep you up to date with that. Okay, now the next thing I want to talk about here And well, let me tell you this. So last night on our live, we had a really nice live again, like so much fun. You guys are the best. I wanted to tell you that I had come in with a question. I've really been waffling about whether I should take the red eye into JFK and arrive the morning of our cruise on September 16th, or if I should go ahead and take the advice I tell everyone else, fly in the night before and stay at a hotel. I'm going to take my own advice, and thanks to lots of you for nudging me along about that. It is much wiser to fly in the day before, even if you think it will be okay. So I just wanted to put that out there. All right. The next thing we need to talk about here is the Panama Canal. As a lot of you have been aware, I've talked about it here before, the Panama Canal, that whole region there is in a severe drought. Well, yesterday they had some more updates about it. Historically, like in 2022, they were allowing like 40 ships through the canal a day. But due to the fact that the water levels are so much lower, they are down, it was 36 and now they are down to 32 ships a day. With that change, there's this huge backup. They say in the report yesterday, they said that waiting to go through the Panama Canal, there are at least 200 ships. 200 ships waiting to go. And I thought, well, how did we get a backup that big? But if you think of 1 month and you're 4 less cruise ships, not cruise ships, just ships of any kind, including cruise ships, if you are 4 less per day in a month, you've got 120 ship backup, right? In 30 days. So this is a really big deal. Now, I don't know if in the long run that is how many cruises this is going to affect. I don't really know where cruise ships lie in the lineup, like who gets seniority to go through. They've talked about a lot of the really heavy tankers are having to unload some of their cargo, and then they take a train to carry it across Panama and meet them at the other side of the canal and reload that cargo onto their ship, because that decreases the amount of draft they have, how low they sit in the water. So some of the ships are having to do that. I have not heard of any cancellations for cruises through the Panama Canal due to the drought. We'll keep an eye on it and I'll let you know, but I thought it was worth mentioning. Another thing I thought was really interesting about this is when you look at the Panama Canal there, you think, well, there is so much water from the ocean, like what's the problem here? Interestingly enough, there, as they open the canal to allow a ship to come in, some seawater does come in and it mixes with the fresh water there. The plants there that handle the water do not have any desalination capabilities. So when they are doing all of these processes to get a ship and go through the locks and out the other side, there's a lot more going on there than might meet the eye. They have to really keep an eye on the salination of the water so that it doesn't get too salty, because then they've got a problem. So that is why they have to use so much fresh water every time a ship goes through. So that's your update on the Panama Canal today. And the current restrictions that are in place are going to stay in effect at least through September 2nd. I'd seen a couple of news stories that said they were in effect till the end of the year, but I can't find that on the official notifications that actually come out from the canal there. So I guess we'll see. But if they don't get a lot of rain, I'm sure they will have to extend them. Now, I've got updates for you from the Caribbean Princess and the Enchanted Princess. And to me, they are really interesting. So someone pointed out, who was just on it, and this is over on our Facebook group, and I really appreciate what you post there and how helpful it is for everyone. So he posted this from the evening of day 5 of their Caribbean Princess cruise. On that evening, the table numbers, when you sit at the table there on Princess and on a lot of other cruise lines, there are little numbers on the table so that you know what number it is, and the waiters do too, the crew members. And so apparently on day 5, those numbers showed up back on the table again. They had been removed before the cruise because they didn't want so many passengers asking for a specific table or the same table each night. So from what they have heard, it caused a lot more confusion with the crew and with people trying to say, well, I want that table over there. And so it looks like they're back to table numbers there on aboard the Caribbean Princess. So if any of you have been sailing on any other ship, whether it's Princess or another one, and those table numbers have disappeared, let us know. When we were just on the Island Princess, It was absolutely no problem to request the same table every evening with the same servers. Now, when we ask, we generally don't care which table it is, as long as it is in the servers that we really enjoy in their area. So once we found Kevin and Sankrit and we had our area, we had them that we really liked, I didn't really mind which table it was. Happened that they set us at the same table every evening, but that's a big change with the Caribbean Princess. And so I wonder if we're going to see more of that. To try to discourage people from doing that, because I know that there are an awful lot of people that do that. They thoroughly enjoy having servers who are familiar with what they like, and at the end of the cruise they enjoy giving them extra tip to do with that. And I am happy to, like, if I have a waiter that when I come and sit down brings me a Diet Coke and has an idea of what I enjoy at dinner time, that's worth it to me to give them a tip, and it's good for them, I feel like. That's my opinion. I know people have differing opinions on gratuity. Another thing that I wanted to tell you is about the Enchanted Princess. Now, this is really interesting to me, and as we talked about it in our live a little bit last night, I remember having some of that same problem when we were on the Discovery Princess last year. So the Love Boat cruise on the Discovery Princess was that last week of October in 2022, and they were having a hard time they were out of some alcoholic beverages on board, which is really interesting because we were just sailing from Los Angeles there. But the Enchanted Princess and their Mediterranean sailing has really been low on a lot of beverages. Our Let's Go family member said, they sent me an email about this and said that right when they boarded the ship in Rome, they noticed it was hard to get some drinks or beers at the bars or the dining rooms. 12 days later into their cruise, the ship is down to Coors Light, Corona, Heineken, and Stripe and white liquors only, with no more Diet Coke on the ship. I've asked why this is happening because they have been to Athens already. They've been to all these places, and they said it was because the shipment that they were waiting for has not arrived from the United States yet. So I am wondering, and I would like to hear from all of you, why do some of these cruise lines not source locally? This is a discussion for us. So let's talk about that in the comments, because truly, if you're waiting for a shipment to come from the United States, that's a lot of, that's the expense of shipping it somewhere, right? And shipping these days, it has more uncertainty that we have seen before. Like if you're having it come from California to get over to Europe, it's got to go through the Panama Canal or down and around and over. I don't know if it's from California, but just throwing that out there because I know that's where Princess is headquartered. It could also be coming from Florida. Lots of options there. But when you are out of Diet Coke on a ship and you are out of all the liquor that everybody wants, should you be giving people a little bit of a refund on their drink package? Definitely. If they have like your soda package, that should be refunded, hands down. And then I think that a chunk of your Plus and Premier package should be refunded, because that's a large chunk of why you book those packages. Let me know what you think about that as well, would ya? I am wondering when that shipment is going to come. If the Enchanted Princess is going to start her next sailing without those beverages on board. It's unbelievable to me that they can't do something about that problem. But then again, I am not in charge of provisioning everything that a cruise ship needs. So, yeah, this Let's Go family member said they did talk to the beverage manager, just kind of shrugged his shoulders and said there wasn't anything he could do about it. So I've gotten emails from people, and I get a lot of emails from people that aren't booking a cruise with me. They've got lots of questions, and I cannot keep up with them all. I'll just tell you that here. So 2 questions we're going to talk about today. One is, what is the easiest way to get to the ship if you use a walker? You need to, I would say, two ways to do it. If you use a walker, I would suggest, and they ask to get from the airport to a cruise ship, take either the Princess Transfer, because you can, they're very helpful there. You can get up to the bus, and as you go up the steps, they'll stow your walker underneath the bus, the shuttle bus for you, and then when you're ready to get off again, they'll get it out from underneath the bus and have it for you there. I think that's a lovely option. If you can't do stairs so easily, I think the easiest way to do it would be a taxi or an Uber. I wouldn't be worrying about trying to do any other way. Now in Seattle, we've talked about Pier 91 before, the fact that when you take an Uber there, you can get you can have them take you right up to where you'll be handing over your luggage and going right in for embarkation. But at the end of the cruise, if you're going to take an Uber there at Pier 91, you need to walk further out. So there's a point that is further down. It's not right where you come out of that cruise terminal building. Where there's taxis there, and there's the shuttle buses for the Princess Transfer. Those are close right there. If you want to do the Uber, you have to walk further down. So keep all of that in mind as you make your travel plans. Now, with Glacier Bay in Alaska, there are 3 major cruise lines of the really big ships that have permits to go to Glacier Bay. It's Holland America, Princess, and Norwegian, and that is the order of the number of permits that they have. Holland America has the most, and then Princess, and then Norwegian. All 3 of them, as they go into Glacier Bay, they pick up park rangers. The park rangers stay on the ship during the time that the cruise ship is in Glacier Bay. They provide a really great narration so that everyone knows what they're looking at, and when you're coming up to certain glaciers and the wildlife and everything about it. They do a really good job. They also have a little area set up on the ship, and it just depends on which ship you're on where they're going to do it. When we have been on the smaller Princess ships that have an indoor pool, often it has been in that indoor pool area. On the Majestic Princess, it was in the Hollywood Conservatory. When we were on Holland America, it was in the Crow's Nest. I'm trying to remember where it was this year. I think it was there this time. I'm sorry. Things run together just every once in a while, but in the Crow's Nest. And it's really nice because you can go ask your questions. You can buy some of the National Park Service items. It's awesome. I've gotten some really cool books. I've gotten children's books. They sell hats and patches. They've got the stamps there for your National Park book. They do a really nice job. So I highly recommend at some point, if you're going to Alaska, that you go to Glacier Bay, and those right now are the 3 major cruise liners that you're going to take. Now, Viking, Cunard, and Seabourn also have authorization to go there, as well as some of the small tour charter boats that go there. So you would have to, in order to do those smaller charter boats, you would have to book that separately and just find someone to book your tour with, or your smaller trip with, that would take you into Glacier Bay. But that's where we stand right now with who goes to Glacier Bay. Okay, now really quickly, to go along with Alaska this year, we've had a lot of questions about Princess's Crab Shack. And I talked about it a little bit before, but some of you have been really kind to send me more information over on our Facebook group. Eric, Exploring with Eric, he loves the Crab Shack, and so he's if you've got a question, post it there, and he loves to answer, and it's really kind of him. So that experience this year is showing up on Alaskan cruises. It doesn't show up on all of the cruises that Princess runs all of the time. It just is on certain ships, and the way they do it is you don't make reservations before you get on board. They'll advertise it when you're on board, and you can sign up to do it. It's $29.99 a person, and everyone, hands down, I have not heard anybody say that it wasn't worth it. It doesn't mean everyone thinks it is, but as of the people that have communicated with me and the reviews that I have read, everyone is really pleased with it. They say it's delicious, and the way they do it is they just do it in a part of the buffet area. So whether you're in the Horizon Court buffet or the World Marketplace buffet, whatever they're calling the buffet on the ship you're on, they will block out an area for that and a time to do it. So like I said, if you're interested in it, when you get on board, go looking for it. And if you don't see it, I would definitely, if that's one of the things you want to do, go down to customer service, ask what days they're doing it, and get signed up. All right, that's what I suggest. And like I said, lots of people just love it, to the point that we need to try it the next time Gordon and I go to Alaska on Princess, which I guess will be next year. So we'll have to make sure that we try it, and hopefully they'll be running it. Now, I wanted to end with, the other day I was talking to you about bucket lists and reorganizing travel a little bit based on bucket lists. And we need to talk about this more rolling forward so that none of us lose our focus on what we need to be doing I am really excited. This is kind of what directed Gordon and I's thoughts to how to put up our videos for places, and put up a whole bunch every Sunday that we can, as many as we can, so that you can see places and maybe decide what you would like to do. I have watched a lot of people's videos and found out places that until I watched what they showed, I didn't even know I wanted to go there. So it's really special. So when I think of one of the cruises that would be just out of this world for me to take, I really want to go through the Northwest Passage. The Northwest Passage has not always been passable by a ship, but now at certain times of the year it is. So I would really, really love to do that. I would love to go to Egypt and Jordan. Next year we've got our celebrity cruise on the Silhouette that goes on October 11th. It's a group cruise, and it's 11 days long, and we get 3 days in Israel and 2 days in Egypt. I want to go back. I'm so excited about that, by the way, but I want to go back for longer. I want to go to Egypt longer and see more. I want to pick up one that goes to Jordan, that has the side trips that go there. That is a really big deal to me. Also, Israel, we're going to hit next year as well. I would like to do that again. Hong Kong is really on my list. And see, that is one of the places that I need to figure out sooner than later, because you just never know with, just how things are politically around the world, like how long we're going to be able to visit there. To me, it's one of those places that may become like St. Petersburg is now. I feel so fortunate we got to go there during that window of time that it was open for cruise ships and for other people to visit, because now you can't. And I'm wondering if Hong Kong is the same that way. And then also in Asia, I would really like to get to go to Japan. Gordon has been there. Clearly, you've heard us talk about that. He lived there for 2 years, but I would really like to get to go see it and understand everything he has been telling me about ever since we've been married. So that is also on our list as well to figure out sooner than later. And then finally, the Galapagos. I would really like to get to go to the Galapagos. I know our Let's Go family members, Karen and Kevin, they just went there, and phenomenal trip. They were kind enough to send me photos, put them over on our Facebook group, and what an amazing experience they had. And truly, I want to go there on Celebrity. Celebrity is the leader in Galapagos for taking passengers. They are even rated higher than National Geographic, if you can believe it. They've got the 2 ships that they take down there, and excellent experience that they have. And so those are the things that are on my bucket list. So if you didn't share last time where is on your bucket list, would you share it below and what you're trying to do to be able to go there? I would really like to hear from you all. Thank you so very much for being here with me today. I really look forward to talking to you all again soon, and you all take really good care. God bless you. Love you. Bye-bye.